Okay, so we were busy with this page. Okay, en toe het ons gesê dat die vergelyking van daai sirkel is x kwadraat plus y kwadraat equal to 1, which was actually the radius. Ach, not, yeah, the radius of the circle, right? Okay, radius squared, and that gave me 1. Now, we substituted in certain points to see whether that point would be on the circumference of the circle or whether it would be inside or outside. Okay, so when we substituted in that one in yellow, our answer was 1. And because my radius was 1, it meant that it would be on the circumference on this of that circle. Now, okay, now over here, because I had my answer was 13, it meant that the radius there was going to be 13, meaning that line would be somewhere over here. Do you guys agree? It would be a very long one. So that would not be on the circle. That would be a point outside the circle. Okay, so okay, so that on your notes it said that 13 is actually greater than 1, and because of that, therefore, outside of the circle. Okay, right, so let's substitute another point. I'm going to skip, you guys have got all of this in front of you. Okay, so let's use the point where x is a half, that's on that page, and y is 3/4. Okay, so instead of x squared plus y squared, let me write that, x squared plus y squared was equal to 1. So now we're going to say instead of x, a half, instead of y, 3/4. Okay, and that is actually going to give me 13 over 16. Now, 13 over 16, is that greater than 1 or less than 1? It's less than 1. And because it's less than 1, have a look. There's my circle, just a quick picture. That is 1. So if you have less than 1, it means that it would be somewhere over here, no? So it's still inside my circle. Does that make sense? Okay, so because it's less than 1, therefore inside the circle. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay. No. The previous slide, I'll skip back just now again. Over here, my circle's midpoint was the origin, where x is 0 and where y is also 0. But that's not always going to be the case. That circle can be anywhere. So meaning the midpoint can change. Now what happens then? Okay, so if my midpoint is not at the origin, let's say daar, the equation of a circle with center AB. Kom ons sê circle and radius R. Okay, so midpoint is now AB. So previously, my equation was x, and you'll understand why I put it so far just now, square plus y squared was equal to radius squared. Remember we said that 1 squared still remained 1. No. Okay. Now, but that was when it was 0 at the origin. But now 0 is not the origin anymore. AB is the origin. So instead of having 0 here and there, I'm going to have the values of A and B. So I'm going to have A, excuse me, daai met minus weer, sorry. A and B. Okay. Nou, daai minus gooi jou dalk so klein bietjie uit, maar onthou julle lank terug toe jy sê maar in graad 9 gedoen het, where we had a bracket x minus 2 equal to 0, nee? Dan, omdat daai 2 mos oorgaan, is die waarde van x eintlik 2. Onthou julle dit? So dink aan daai, om te onthou van hierdie minusse. Okay, because if I had that a positive A, dan sou hierdie 'n negatief A moes gewees het. So your formula, en hierdie formule kan jy maar gaan leer. Remember that page that I handed out with the revision of grade 11? At the end of that, there were 2 equations, nee? Wat gestaan het graad 12. Remember that? Remember the second? Okay. Now here, so daar het ek gesê, x squared plus y squared is equal to radius squared. That's the one that we have done now. Nou soos by die enetjie. Die vergelijking van die cirkel met middelpunt AB. So x minus a in bracket squared plus y minus b squared, also in bracket, equal to radius squared. Okay, so dit is wanneer ek nie die oorsprong as my middelpunt het nie. Nou kom ons gaan kyk gou. I want to go through the right hand side of that page where we've got examples to work through. By die eerste enetjie sê hulle vir jou. Vind die vergelijking van die cirkel met middelpunt 4 en minus 3. Okay, so they're saying that it would be 4 and minus 3. Right. So, in radius 6. And radius 6. Okay. Now, we know we're going to have bracket squared plus bracket squared equal to radius squared. No. Okay, and over here I had x minus the x value there, which is 4. Over there I had y minus, and then this y value is a negative 3. Okay, I'm just showing, you don't have to write this step. The next one is what you can actually give me. So that's the same as x minus 4 squared plus, en dan hierdie raak a plus 3 kwadraat, and then that 6 squared, you can actually say is 36. Okay, so jou radius kwadraat gaan jy altyd maar my gaan vereenvoudig. Is julle reg? Okay. Now at the second one, they're telling me, or they're asking, is the point where x is 3 and y is 1, they give me the coordinate, on the circle, inside the circle, or outside the circle? Okay, so they're working with 3 and 1. So what did we do previously? We substituted that into our equation. Nee. Okay, so dan gaan ek sê, in plaas van x, gaan ek nou sê 3 minus 4 kwadraat plus, and instead of y, I'm going to say 1 plus 3 squared. Okay, and that's supposed to be 36. No, but we're going to now first work out. So 3 minus 4 gave me minus 1, no? Squared. So minus 1 squared. Then minus 1 squared would give me a positive 1. Then over here, okay, so plus 1 plus 3 gave me 4. And 4 squared is 16. So that actually gives me a final answer of 17. And how much should it have been? 36. Okay, so 17, can you see, is smaller than 36. And when it's smaller than my radius, it would be what? Inside, outside, on? Inside. Onthou julle daai game? Van die rekke, ja. Inside, outside, inside. Hoe dit nou weer Coca-Cola, Fanta, grape, inside, outside, inside, on. Daar's sy. Okay, so therefore inside the circle. Okay. Any questions so far? Hoe lyk dit? Is julle alright? Goed. Nou, kom ons kyk gou-gou. Wat sê hulle daar? So apart from being able to write down the equation of a circle given its center and radius, like we had now, we also need to know how to recognize an equation that is a circle. The equation of a circle can be written in the form. Okay, dit gaan ek net gou-gou vir julle so skryf. It can also be written in the form x squared plus y squared plus px plus qy plus c is equal to 0. But when I do the examples just now, dan gaan hierdie vir jou bietjie makliker lyk, hoor? Okay. So that is basically when we go multiply out all those values. Nee. Okay, now sê hulle daar vir jou example. Consider the equation of the circle looked at earlier, the one that we had previously, nee? Hy was mos gewees x minus 4 kwadraat plus y plus 3 kwadraat en dit was gelyk aan 36. Okay, now, if I go write out those two brackets, the x minus 4 times x minus 4 plus y plus 3, y plus 3. Nou begin julle al klaar verstaan waar hy vandaan kom, nee? Okay, so if I go multiply those in, ek gaan nie die stappie tussenin skryf nie, dan gaan hy vir my gee x kwadraat plus y kwadraat minus 8x plus 6y minus 11 is gelyk aan 0. So, ja? Ja, maar ek gaan nou vir jou wys hoe, dis eintlik baie maklik, nee? So jy gaan nou net sien, over here, the terms are a bit shuffled around. Nee, usually you would have had x squared minus 8x and then plus or minus a number. And then you'd have y squared plus 6y and then a number. But those numbers were simplified a bit more. Nee, okay? En het gaan nie verkeerd wees as jy dit in daai volgorde skryf nie. Alright, it's just you must be able to recognize the circle. If you see a x squared and a y squared, a normal x, normal y, and then a constant. Okay, good. Okay, right, so if you look at the back of that page, well, so, kyk net gou heel onder sê hulle vir jou, so therefore the p would be the minus 8, nee? That q value would be the plus 6, and the c value would be the 11 in this case, nee? Okay, now look at the back of that page. Okay, as die gegewe vergelyking in daai vorm gegee is, dan kan ons die middelpunt en die radius kry deur die kwadraat vir beide x en y te voltooi. Okay, we can complete the square. Did you guys do that last year? Completing the square? No. Okay, so we complete the square and then by that we work it back to the equation looking like over here, the way we actually want it, because then it's much easier to read off what the midpoint would be of the circle and obviously what the radius is. Okay, maar daai stukkie gaan ek sommer met jou met 'n voorbeeld doen in die daar's ook enetjie, nee? But I want to explain it to you from the textbook. Okay, so kan ek gou-gou vir jou. So this from now on you have to write. Okay, daai het ons gedoen. Ek begin vir verduidelik. Okay, so if I were to give you the following. x squared minus 2x plus 1 Excuse, ek wil daar ietsie uitlos. X kwadraat minus 2x, ek wil daai uitlos vir jou. Het julle hierdie klag skryf? I want to first put it in the order that it is going to be given and then we're going to shuffle it. So x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 10y plus 17 is equal to 0. Okay, so sê nou maar gee vir my dit. Nee? The first step would be to shuffle your terms. Remember, we want x squared x constant, y squared y constant. Nee. Okay, so your first step. Ek gaan nou net sê shuffle. And move your constant. Okay, goed, so kom ons shuffle hulle gou 'n bietjie. Dan gaan ek hê x kwadraat minus 2x plus y kwadraat plus 10y. Can you see I'm grouping together my x1s and then my y1s? Nee? And then this constant, I'm going to move over. So it will become equal to minus 17. Are you guys good? So now we're already closer to what we want. That trinomial equal to radius squared. Okay, but I need a constant here. En ek het 'n konstante daar nodig. Nee. Is julle reg? Okay, now this is the part where completing the square comes in. So what we're going to do is you take, kom ek gaan nou hier vir jou skryf. Coefficient of x. Nou moet ek my spel. Can I do that? Is it alright? Coefficient, no? Of x. And then that we divide by 2, meaning we get half of it, no? And square. Okay? Gaan nou verder, so dan gaan ek hê x kwadraat minus 2x, and to get that little number there, I'm going to take the coefficient of x, which is minus 2, divide it by 2, which is minus 1, and square it. What does it give me? Positive 1. Okay, so that's going to become positive 1. Okay. So sien jy daai stukkie het ek nou hier ingesit. Kom ek skryf hom vir jou in groen, dan gaan jy mooi sien. Okay, now we go on with the equation. Then we had y squared plus 10y. En nou kort ons daar weer 'n stukkie. So we're going to do the same thing there. We're going to get the coefficient van y gedeel deur 2 en dan kwadraat. Nee? Wat is die koëffisiënt van y? 10. Gedeel deur 2 geef my 5. En dit kwadraat geef my 25. Okay, so I'm going to say plus 25. Okay, then it was equal to minus 17. Nee, maar, ek wil nou net gou hierso. Calculate. Kan ek maar net sê calculate constants? Gaan julle weet wat ek bedoel? Huh? Daai groen is. Of nee, weet jy wat? Ek gaan sê complete square. Want dis eintlik die regte bewoording. Ek het nou gedink ek kan dit vir julle in plain Afrikaans sê. Maar sien, dis kom dit nie werk nie. Okay, maar you guys, what we just did is on the left-hand side of the equation, we added 1 and 25. Met ander woorde, ek het nou my vergelyking heeltemal hier verander. Nee. What's the golden rule? If we do it on the one side, I must also do it on the other side. Otherwise, I am changing the equation. Nee. So, omdat ek hier gesê het plus 1, gaan ek daar ook sê plus 1. And because over here I said plus 25, I'm also going to say plus 25. Who doesn't understand that part? Are you guys good? Okay, goed. Nou, kan ek gaan vereenvoudig en gaan sê, if I look at this first part, x squared minus 2x plus 1. If you factorize that, it would become what? Wat gaan hy raak? Ja, ek hoor hom. X minus 1, maal met x minus 1. In other words, x minus 1 squared. Nee. Okay. Now this one, y squared plus 10y plus 25 would become? Are you asking why or are you starting with the equation? Okay, so it would be y a minus or a plus? Plus. Equal to, en dan minus 17 plus 1 plus 25 gaan vir my gee 9. So nou is hy in die formaat wat ek hom wil hê, nee. So therefore, what would my midpoint be? Wat is my middelpunt? 1 en minus 5, nee? Remember about the signs. Okay, en wat gaan my radius wees? Yes, because radius squared would give me that 9. Who doesn't understand? You guys good? Yeah. Jy kan. Maar dat is jou plus tussenin. Hierso. Ja. Hoor gou jy oukies, net gou om vir julle te wys, nee? I want you to see, kyk gou daai 1 se vierkantswortel gaan wees 1. 25 square root of that would be 5. Okay. So that's also just a shorter way of getting your brackets. Okay, just make sure about your signs, please. So any questions so far? Okay, must we do one more or do you guys want to try? Jy wil net sit en kyk, dis hoekom. Okay. Let's start it off nice and easy. Okay, people, in each one of these, I want you to get the radius and the midpoint. So start with that one. Yeah. How do we get midpoint? What's written there? Actually, a plus 0. And yeah? Plus 0. So midpoint would be 0, 0. The origin. what would my radius be? Remember, this is radius squared. So radius would be square root of 12. No? Ja. Ja. Is julle by? Kyk gou-gou. Because that is the same as x plus 0 squared, y plus 0 squared. Okay, but this is radius squared. Oh, wag, kom ek skryf daai vir jou langs die kant uit. Ja? Sorry? What do you mean shuffle it? We didn't have to shuffle it now. It's only when it's in that other form. It's the next one. I'm going to ask you to do that. I now did what we did right in the beginning. Okay, so midpoint here would be where x is 0 and y is 0. Radius squared was actually 12, right? So therefore radius would be square root of 12. Does it now make sense? Everyone? Ja. Het jy gesê 2 wortel 3? Ja, reg. Okay, next one. Kan ek maar gee? Jy sê nou ek moet in anyway. X minus 6 kwadraat. Again, just give me the midpoint and the radius, né? Nee. Maar die wat toe? Hey, keep back.
You sounded so proud of being a heroin addict. Who was a heroin addict?
Weet van hom, ja.
It was like, heroin. Ek het heroin soos elke liewe dag. 4-5 kyk, joh, ek het heroin. Ek het altyd heroin in my sak gehad.
Okay, so wat is midpoint hierso? Okay, so middelpunt gaan wees, oopsie, there we go. It would be 6, x is 6, and y is 0. And then radius would be 10, because 10 squared gave me the 100. Now, you guys good? Okay, now we're getting to the one where we've got to complete the square. Okay, kan ek maar skip? Okay, number 3. X kwadraat plus 8x plus y kwadraat. I've already shuffled them for you. Minus 6. Okay, so your first step is going to be to complete the square, né? Because it's already shuffled. So you need to get something in there and in here. And then obviously add it there. Remember? Coefficient of x divided by 2 and square. And then coefficient of y divided by 2 and square. Coefficient is what's written just in front of the x. Square it. 3 kwadraat, 2 kwadraat. Square the top, square the bottom. 3 over 2. 3 squared over 2 squared.
I just folded it.
Jy sit en doen alweer niks, né? Jy skryf niks. Nee, moenie vir my ma'am nie. Jy's weer afdrand hierso. Today and the day before. And the day before. Kom, skryf. Skryf. Moenie vir my gaap soos 'n vis nie. Ja. Huh? It's in any case, when we square it, it's in any case going to fall away. No. X plus wat? O, plus 4. Ja. Ja. Oh, julle is al 30 minutes. Kom, ek gaan gou doen. Okay. So to get this one, I'm going to take the 8 divided by 2, which is going to give me 4. And then if I square it, it's going to give me 16. En as ek hier 16 bysit, moet ek daar ook 16 bysit. Nee. Okay. Then over here, I have minus 3. That's the coefficient of y. Then divided by 2, and then we square it, which will give me positive 9 over 4. Nee? So plus 9 over 4. You guys good with that? Okay, now, if I go and group these together, en ons het gesê, hierdie 16 is eintlik my clue ook, nee, dat daai hakkie gaan wees x plus 4, because square root of 16 was the 4. Nee. Okay, now let's group these together. En dit gaan wees wat? A minus 3 op 2 kwadraat. You guys good? Okay, but why is that a minus there? Because initially it was minus 3 over 2 before we squared it. No, so that's that also tells you that it must be a minus. And when I go multiply these in, that's the only way that it would form a negative 3y. Does it make sense, Awa? Okay. Right now, the right-hand side, if I said minus 6 plus 16 plus 9 over 4, that gave us how much? 49 over 4. Good. So therefore, what is my midpoint? 4, minus 4 and 3 over 2. And radius 7 over 2, because that, remember, that was radius squared. So as jy dit mekaar raak, nee, start with this. Radius squared is equal to 49 over 4. So that means that radius will be 7 over 2. Okay, as jy heeltyd daai vergeet, skryf hom eerder daai ekstra stappie in to remind you. Okay. Right, so any questions? Good. I think you guys are ready for homework. So we're going to do exercise 1. Die klok gaan in elk geval nou lui. Which is on page 192. Okay, nou ek skryf hulle stukkie uit, so moenie skrikkie. 22, 23, 23, 25. 22, 23. Wag gou 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5. Sorry, I'm going to listen just now. 1, 3, 5, 3, 8, 3, 11. Okay. Yes, your question? Tuesday's homework. The analytical. Up until 7. Jy moes dit merk in die klas. Come show. Okay, can I stop the recording? Everyone's fine up until here? Good.